Hi everybody, it's Lucy Masterstone. Welcome back to my channel. I had a request to do a day in my life, so it's bright and early in the morning and I thought I would bring you guys along as I open up the barn and see how everybody slept. First off, we're going to get everybody's food ready. They love their grain in the morning. So let's go. The grain is kept in these big blue bins, so I just scoop out all my horse's grain. Maya helps me, but I do like to dose out all of their food and their medication myself, so I know offhand just what everybody's eating, and it's all in my own head and it's all been done through me. So if there's ever a problem, I'm the one to blame for it and we don't have to do a big goose chase. So I just dose out everybody's food. Some of them are on medications, nothing crazy, just bute, and of course there's supplements here and there, depending on who I've worked lately. So it varies day to day. But then I just take their buckets and I go out to their stalls and feed them. So first up today I fed Party, who is my Jorvik pony. And I just threw her food in her bowl. And I also made sure to check her hay net. Maya will be refilling hay nets later, but she had some left from overnight that I just fluffed up for her and made sure it was ready for her whenever she wanted it. And plus I had to give her a quick pat, of course. You have to love on them for a sec before you let them have breakfast. So after everyone's fed, I grab my tools and I start mucking. Again, Maya helps me. I do about half my stable, she does the other half. But it's important to me that I do a lot of the dirty work with my horses too, because it's the easiest way to spot anything that could be wrong with them if you're the one that's physically handling them and doing some of the yard work. So after I'm done mucking, I just get down and give everybody's stall one last once over, and then I go catch up with Maya and I just fill her in on anything I notice during the morning. She fills me in, and then we just quickly go over the rest of the day before we part ways again, and off I go to do something else. After feeds were done, including anybody who was out overnight, I bring in anybody that was out overnight inside, depending on who I'm planning on working with. Today, it's Guardian. I really wanted to brush up on a few things with him, considering I hadn't ridden him in a while, and I think he was feeling a little neglected, so I decided to just take him out and tack him up and put in some work with him. He's actually goes really well, both Western and English, but today I felt like jumping him because I really wanted him to get excited about his work for a while. Plus, I'm planning on doing flat work later in the day. He was a bit muddy because he had obviously rolled outside overnight, but I was able to get it off with a brush. And then I just picked out his feet and threw on a saddle pad before putting on my Smart Archaeology saddle. And the bridle I'm using today is from a birthday set, as well as the wraps, which are from the Christmas Village, and I absolutely love the ties around the outsides of them. So I decided to take Guardian up to Marley's today to use their jumping arena, and what better way to squeeze in a warm-up than riding him up there instead of trailering. So I rode him up there and decided to walk, trot, and canter all the way up in order for him to stretch, so the second we got there we could just pop in and start getting over fences. And he really enjoyed it. I opened him up and do a hand gallop about halfway up the hill, and I think it was nice for him. He enjoyed being ridden again and getting a little one-on-one time. I used to ride him so much before I got lots more horses in my string, so it was nice to come back to basics. Once we got to Marley's, I just trotted him in the ring, put him on the rail, and then once we got halfway around, I just started popping him over fences. And he did well. He seemed to enjoy it. We had a few hiccups. First of all, I think he was still in a bit of Western mode and sort of had to switch his brain over, which is something I often have to do depending on which discipline I'm riding, but once we got the hang of it, he did absolutely awesome, and I had forgotten how much I enjoyed being on him. I'm starting to outgrow him a bit since he is a pony, but he's a very sturdy little boy and he has no complaints about carrying me at all, so when everything's appropriate, I do try and put in some time on him, on his back. Maybe one day I'll find a younger girl to give him a little more time. Then I decided to just cool him out and walk him back down to the barn for a well-deserved lunch. Once Guardian was all put away and he had been bathed and was properly cooled out, I decided to hop on Kissy and do some awesome flat work, dressage work, no jumping at all, just really grinding him through his paces in the dressage ring. We worked on some transitions, some circles, walk to canter, trot to canter, and some pee-off, which is a little new for him, but he did so well. It was an amazing session. I was so incredibly proud of him. I absolutely love working dressage, and Kizzy is by far the best dressage horse I have ever had. After our workout, I hosed Kissy off a little bit just because he was just a little sweaty. And then I decided to hop on Storm, my soul horse, to run my next errand. I had to go look at some horses for sale in Dundle, as I'm always thinking of expanding and adding to the string, and decided instead of driving over there, I might as well give somebody else a little TLC, so I just hopped on him bareback and rode him over to go look at what was for sale. I didn't wind up bringing anybody home today, but I always like to just get the gears in my head ticking, decide if I want another horse that is cold resistant or something to add to my dressage string or another pony. I basically just look around and see if anybody really catches my eye. I look at conformation, try and see if anybody has any flaws that would be a hindrance to me in my training. Just smart horsemanship, horse buying, and looking at each one in turn. This one was very sweet, and I couldn't help but give him a quick pat. I really wanted to take him home with me right away, but I just had no use for his qualities in my barn. Another test I do is see how easily the horses spook, and this one was so big, but he turned out to be a gentle giant because I was able to jump around in front of him and nothing really crazy happened. So the Clydesdales seem to be something I may want to do in the future. Alright, so back at the barn, I pulled out Rebel and decided to put him on the lunge. Rebel is recovering from an upper respiratory infection, so he is not back in work fully, but he is cleared for light work and exercise at this point, supervised exercise. So I put him on the lunge line and put him through his paces there. He's not allowed to have extensive turnout for fear that he will overexert himself and make his lungs worse. So it was nice for him to have exercise in a very controlled, supervised way. And I had some time this afternoon to give to him, so I decided why not? After I was done exercising Rebel and he was all put away, Maya and I spot cleaned all the stalls before feeding the horses their dinner in the same pattern I fed them this morning. Then all I had to do was shut off the lights and tuck them in for the night. Thank you guys so much for watching A Day in My Life. Please be sure to subscribe. See you next time.